After years of cleaning glasses at the Long Branch Saloon and fretting over the well-being of Marshall Dillon and, in real life, a bout with illness, Amanda Blake is on the go again. Lee Leonard has this update.
Amanda Blake was a beloved actress, forever remembered as the charming Miss Kitty on the iconic Western Gunsmoke. But behind that warm smile and the affection of millions, Amanda carried a fire that few knew about. Hollywood, with all its glitter and fake smiles, had clearly rubbed her the wrong way. After leaving Gunsmoke following its 19th season, Amanda's life moved away from the spotlight. Yet the resentment she felt towards certain stars never faded. While many believed her death was due to oral cancer linked to her smoking, the reality was far more complicated and far more revealing. In the years leading up to her passing, Amanda didn't mince words. She boldly named the 5 stars she absolutely despised, pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's hidden rivalries, secret grudges, and the toxic tensions that festered behind the glitz. This is the shocking story of the stars Amanda Blake couldn't stand and why she wanted the world to know. But before we begin, if you are a fan of Gunsmoke and Amanda Blake, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Amanda Blake, born Beverly Louise Neal on February 20th, 1929 in Buffalo, New York, grew up far from the bright lights of Hollywood. Her family later moved to Claremont, California, where young Amanda's fascination with acting began to bloom. Surrounded by encouragement and love, she was raised in a home that fueled her creativity and confidence. From an early age, she also showed a deep affection for animals, a passion that would remain close to her heart throughout her life and inspire her later work in animal welfare and conservation. As a student, Amanda was a natural performer. She eagerly took part in school plays and local drama productions, finding joy in bringing characters to life. Those early experiences not only shaped her talent, but also gave her the foundation she needed to chase her Hollywood dreams. By the late 1940s, her ambition led her to the doorstep of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, one of the most powerful film studios of its time. MGM was home to some of the most glamorous actresses of the era, including the legendary Greer Garson. Studio executives often signed fresh faces to fill the shoes of their established stars, and Amanda was reportedly brought in as a potential Greer Garson replacement. It was a common Hollywood practice back then. Young actors would be molded to fit certain star images, their careers carefully controlled by the studios. But Amanda was never one to stay in anyone's shadow. Starting with small and sometimes uncredited roles, she worked tirelessly to prove herself. Her persistence paid off when she landed the role that would define her career, Miss Kitty Russell in Gunsmoke. With her grace, strength, and undeniable charm, Amanda Blake transformed what began as a studio experiment into a legacy all her own, securing her place as one of television's most beloved icons. Amanda Blake's career took a remarkable turn when she landed the role that would define her legacy, Miss Kitty Russell, in the hit TV series Gunsmoke, which premiered in 1955. Her portrayal of the tough yet warm-hearted saloon owner was truly ahead of its time, offering audiences a rare glimpse of a strong and independent woman on television when such roles were almost unheard of. For 19 of the show's 20 unforgettable seasons, Blake captivated viewers with her charm, grace, and quiet strength, earning not only critical praise, but also a lasting place in the hearts of millions. Set in the rugged town of Dodge City, Kansas, during the early days of the American West, Gunsmoke followed the lives of townsfolk battling both lawlessness and survival. As the owner of the Long Branch Saloon, Miss Kitty wasn't just another character. She was the heart of Dodge City, often serving as a confidant, advisor, and emotional anchor for Marshall Matt Dillon, played by James Arness. She added depth and humanity to the show's frontier drama. Blake's performance made Miss Kitty more than just a TV character. She became a symbol of resilience, compassion, and quiet strength, one of the most iconic women ever to appear on the small screen. In the years leading up to her passing, Amanda didn't mince words. She boldly named the 5 stars she absolutely despised, pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's hidden rivalries, secret grudges, and the toxic tensions that festered behind the glitz. This is the shocking story of the stars Amanda Blake couldn't stand. Number 1, Milburn Stone. Milburn Stone, who played Doc Adams, was a respected veteran of Gunsmoke. Initially, Amanda Blake felt a little overshadowed by his prominence on the show. At first, I had my frustrations with Milburn. He got third billing, and I wanted it, she once admitted. Stone's calm and disciplined approach sometimes contrasted with Blake's energetic and expressive personality, leading to small clashes on set. Over time, though, Blake began to appreciate his professionalism and wisdom. Stone became a mentor figure, offering guidance about navigating long hours, complex scenes, and the pressures of fame. What began as friction eventually grew into mutual respect and friendship. Their relationship evolved into one of the most supportive partnerships on set, a reminder that first impressions in Hollywood don't always last. Number 2, James Arness. James Arness, who portrayed Marshal Matt Dillon, was the anchor of Gunsmoke. While their characters shared romantic tension, Blake and Arness had differing working styles. Arness was often quiet and reserved, while Blake was lively and expressive. Their different approaches sometimes led to disagreements, particularly when Blake wanted more nuance for her character. Despite these occasional tensions, the two shared a deep professional respect. They learned to work around each other's styles, creating on-screen chemistry that became legendary. Blake later acknowledged that Arness's dedication to the show was inspiring, even if their personalities didn't always align perfectly off-camera. Their relationship illustrates how collaboration often requires compromise and patience. Number 3, Burt Reynolds. Before becoming a household name, Burt Reynolds appeared in a few Gunsmoke episodes. Blake found Reynolds confident, sometimes a little too much for her taste, but she also recognized his potential. His bold energy and improvisational style could be challenging during rehearsals, especially for a cast used to a more structured approach. Blake, who valued professionalism and precision, occasionally found it difficult to adjust, yet she never denied his talent and charisma, which would later make him a Hollywood icon. In retrospect, Reynolds' early behavior seems less like arrogance and more like a young actor testing the waters of a high-pressure environment. Blake's observations offer insight into the early dynamics of Hollywood stars still finding their footing. Number 4, Bette Davis. Bette Davis, one of Hollywood's most intense and celebrated actresses, appeared briefly on Gunsmoke. Blake found Davis's commanding presence a little overwhelming at first. Two strong personalities working together naturally led to moments of tension, especially during scene direction and timing. However, these clashes were professional rather than personal. Blake later expressed admiration for Davis's skill and dedication. Their brief encounters demonstrate how two powerful performers can spark friction, even while working toward the same artistic goal. Blake's reflections show respect for Davis's craft while acknowledging the challenges of sharing the spotlight with such a forceful talent. Number 5, Ken Curtis. Ken Curtis, who played Festus Hagen on Gunsmoke, was beloved for his humor and charisma. Blake sometimes found his improvisational antics a little disruptive when she was focused on delivering a precise performance. Curtis's boisterous personality contrasted with Blake's disciplined approach, leading to occasional behind-the-scenes adjustments. Still, Blake admired Curtis's comedic timing and the warmth he brought to the show. Their occasional disagreements never overshadowed the friendship and camaraderie that developed over the years of working together. Blake's reflections highlight the human side of Hollywood collaborations, moments of challenge, yes, but also of mutual support and appreciation. When Amanda Blake announced her departure from Gunsmoke after its 19th season, it sent a wave of sadness through millions of fans who had grown up watching her every week. For nearly 20 years, Amanda had embodied the role of Miss Kitty Russell, the bold, sharp-witted owner of the Long Branch Saloon, who wasn't afraid to stand her ground in a man's world. To audiences, she wasn't just another character. She was the heart and soul of Dodge City. When Amanda walked away, it felt like the spirit of Gunsmoke walked away with her. The series limped through one final season without her before coming to an end, proving that Gunsmoke just couldn't last without Amanda Blake. Miss Kitty was a character unlike any other on television at the time. She was tough but kind, confident yet compassionate, and she carried herself with a quiet strength that made her instantly unforgettable. Fans admired her courage and independence, qualities that reflected Amanda's real-life personality as well. But what truly made the show special was her undeniable chemistry with Marshal Matt Dillon. played by James Arness. The two shared a bond that was more than friendship but less than romance, a subtle tension that kept viewers hooked for years. Every time Amanda and James shared a scene, it felt as though time stopped in Dodge City. By the time Amanda decided to leave, she had already appeared in more than 500 episodes, becoming one of the most recognizable faces in television history. But behind her warm smile and strong performances, she had grown weary of the same routine. After nearly 2 decades of early call times, long shooting days, and playing the same role over and over, Amanda felt it was time to turn the page and find peace beyond the cameras. After filming her final episode, she packed up her life and moved to her ranch home in Phoenix, Arizona. Away from the Hollywood spotlight, she embraced a new kind of happiness, one filled with quiet mornings, open skies, and the company of the animals she adored. Amanda had always been passionate about wildlife and animal welfare, and now she finally had the time to dedicate herself fully to that love. Financially secure from her long run on Gunsmoke, she no longer needed to chase roles or fame. Instead, she chose to live life on her own terms, peaceful, content, and surrounded by the creatures she cared for deeply. Amanda Blake had spent nearly 2 decades giving her heart to the world as Miss Kitty, and when she finally stepped away, she gave her heart back to herself. In many ways, that was her greatest victory. Amanda Blake, best known for her role on Gunsmoke, was not only a talented actress, but also a woman with a deep and extraordinary love for animals. From a young age, she felt a special connection to all creatures. And over time, her passion grew into something truly remarkable. Her love for animals often made headlines, like the time she brought her pet lion to the Gunsmoke set, a story that amazed and surprised fans alike. But Amanda's commitment to animals went far beyond a single lion or unusual headlines. Amanda and her third husband, Frank Gilbert, whom she was married to from 1967 to 1982, shared her love for wildlife. Together, they cared for several cheetahs and even ran an experimental cheetah breeding program at their home. Remarkably, this program became a success. They were among the first people to breed cheetahs successfully in captivity, raising 7 generations of these rare animals. This achievement wasn't just about fascination. It reflected Amanda's genuine care and desire to protect endangered species. Although some might think keeping cheetahs at home shows a lack of concern for their well-being, Amanda's actions were driven by compassion. She was a vocal advocate for animal rights and dedicated much of her life to improving the lives of animals everywhere. She helped establish the Arizona Animal Welfare League, which remains Arizona's largest and oldest no-kill shelter, saving countless animals over the years. Amanda also helped fund the Performing Animal Welfare Society, POWS, in 1985, spending many of her later years supporting this organization, which still protects animals today. Amanda's devotion did not go unnoticed. In 1984, she was honored with the Courage Award by the Humane Society of the United States for her outstanding work in animal rights. The award was personally presented to her by President Ronald Reagan, highlighting the national recognition of her efforts. Tragically, Amanda Blake passed away in 1989. While her death marked the end of her life, her legacy continued to grow. In 1997, the Amanda Blake Memorial Wildlife Refuge was established in Harold, California. The refuge serves as a sanctuary for exotic African animals living in the United States, many of which had been displaced or trafficked. Thanks to Amanda's vision and passion, these animals found a safe home where they could live free and protected. Throughout her life, Amanda Blake showed that her love for animals was more than a hobby. It was a mission. From her groundbreaking work breeding cheetahs to helping establish organizations that continue to save countless lives, Amanda's dedication to animal welfare was extraordinary. She remains an inspiring example of how one person's passion and commitment can make a lasting difference for the natural world. Amanda Blake, the beloved star best known for her role on Gunsmoke, was only 60 years old when she passed away on August 16, 1989. Initially, fans were told that the cause of her death was oral cancer, a disease Amanda had battled in the 1970s. She had been a longtime smoker, and in 1977, just a few years after leaving Gunsmoke, she had undergone surgery to treat oral cancer. Because of this history, the public naturally assumed that oral cancer had taken her life, but the truth was far more private and far more shocking. Amanda had chosen to keep the real cause of her death a secret, revealing it only to her closest friends. Despite her personal struggles, she remained deeply committed to the causes she cared about, particularly animal welfare. When she passed, Amanda left her entire estate to PAWS, the animal protection foundation she had devoted much of her energy to in her final years. Her generosity highlighted her lifelong passion for animals, though not everyone in her family agreed with her decision. When Amanda's relatives learned she had bequeathed her fortune to PAWS, some contested her will, claiming she was not of sound mind and attempting to claim the inheritance for themselves. It was during this legal battle that the true circumstances surrounding her death came to light. In reality, Amanda Blake had been living with AIDS, and her death was the result of liver failure caused by the disease. This revelation made her one of the earliest high-profile Hollywood stars to die from AIDS alongside figures like Rock Hudson. At the time, AIDS was still a highly stigmatized and poorly understood illness, which explains why Amanda had kept her diagnosis private. She had learned of her AIDS diagnosis a year before her passing. According to those closest to her, Amanda faced the news with remarkable courage and optimism. Even in her final days, she remained determined and hopeful. Her agent later recalled that one of her last requests was for him to help her find a new role in Hollywood. Although her career had slowed in later years, Amanda's spirit and drive to work again remained strong, reflecting a resilience that endeared her to fans both on and off the screen. Amanda Blake's story is not just about the life she lived on television. It is about her courage, her compassion, and the quiet strength she maintained in the face of a devastating illness. Her legacy lives on, not only in her memorable performances, but also in the charitable work she passionately supported until her final days. Amanda Blake, best known for her iconic role on Gunsmoke, tragically passed away due to complications from AIDS. However, the exact way she contracted the disease remains a mystery. Throughout her life, Amanda married 4 times, but she was never publicly known for being sexually promiscuous. She also had no reported history of drug use that might have put her at risk. Interestingly, her 4th husband, Mark Spaeth, also died from AIDS. The couple had married in 1984, but Mark passed away just a year later. While some might assume Amanda contracted AIDS from Mark, many experts believe it could have been the other way around. Mark may have contracted the disease from Amanda. A widely discussed theory suggests that Amanda may have been exposed to the virus during her humanitarian work in Africa, where she frequently traveled to support wildlife and conservation efforts. Amanda received her AIDS diagnosis just a year before her death in 1989, yet she refused to let it define her final days. Even while battling the illness, she remained passionate about the causes she cared about. Beyond her acting career, Amanda Blake was a devoted animal rights activist. She played a key role in establishing several animal welfare organizations, many of which continue to make a remarkable impact today. Her story reminds us that behind Hollywood's glitz and glamour, there can be untold struggles and quiet acts of courage.